The glow stick meta is here, guys. I'm not even joking on it. The glow stick meta is here. Torchbearer is going to be one of the best damage skills for ESO PvP. Now, I've seen a lot of people showcase the skill before, and I've watched a video on it. I watched Malcolm try to experiment with it, and I've also seen other people try to experiment with it. And initially, I'm thinking, it's probably not that good, right? That's what I thought initially, and then I really just started thinking about it a little bit more. Well, there's a couple already scribable skills that are very, like, obviously they're going to be good, but this one right here is actually very strong. All you need is a stam DK, and right here you can see the tooltip on it. You can have it where it does flame damage. Now that's very important because DKs are DKs, you're going to do more damage with flame. But that does not stop there. This tooltip is actually comparable to cleave. And keep in mind, Torchbearer, you're going to swing in a cone just like cleave, and each sweep it does damage. So yes, it lasts for 2 seconds, but during those 2 seconds, if you hit the targets, like if you aim and look at them, and they're in the cone, you can hit that target 3 times for a little bit less of cleave damage. It's 200 tooltip less than what cleave is. That is very fucking important, without a shadow of a doubt. That basically means that you have cleave, but flame. And I'm going to explain some damage done real fast to you, and I'm going to explain how this tooltip can get absurdly strong on DKs, right? And I want you to understand there's a certain number that we can reach that is mid-maxable, and you can get it in a variety of ways. I'm not going to spoil the number to you right now. I just want you to watch the video and actually see this. See some of this numbers, because it's getting fucking tragic. Alright, so right now I'm showcasing to you guys some weapon damage and tooltip of it. So like I was saying earlier, this is very comparable to cleave, right? It's 200 less than cleave initially. So if I go ahead and hit my weapon damage and showcase it to you, I'm not that high. I'm at 4.7, right? This is my regular setup that I run. This is actually a setup that I run for my DK that I showcased earlier in a previous YouTube video. So Blackwood's Prison, Clever Alchemist, Trainee, all this stuff, with Shieldbreaker. I did put on this Ring of Vicious Death, just so that I don't have my Death Dealer's feet proccing, and that's going to affect the tooltips. So that's why I have this ring on. So just keep that in mind. That's the only reason why I have this ring on. I thought I had a mark in my inventory to just showcase a little bit higher weapon damage, because this is very much doable. But I don't have that. So again, when I hit, like, Major Brutality, Minor Brutality, we're at 4.7. Right, hit the dummy, drink the potion, go to back bar, I'm a front bar, we're at 5.6. Right, that's a good amount of weapon damage off there, right? Make sure everything is leveled up, got 10 seconds left. 6.1, and the tooltip is at a casual 7.7. Now, keep in mind, I don't have this skill leveled up. As you level up skills, they deal more damage. They get better, right? If cleave was a heal, if it was even just the base skill of it, cleave 4, it would heal better than cleave 1. And that is very important to know, because that means that there's more damage being showcased that's not here. Now, with all that being said, right, I'm going to showcase to you a very simple thing to really illustrate even more of this, because if I wanted to with my DK, if I wanted to change it up and all that, I can get it where I can have 7k weapon damage without doing what I'm about to showcase to you, which is I'm about to hit the dummy. And keep that in mind, that there are DKs that can reach the same tooltip as me, and I want you to also keep in mind, when you hit the dummy here, right, it gives you Minor Berserk. Now, cleave, as you know, does not do flame damage. In fact, it does physical damage. Let's change out physical in our minds real fast. So imagine this. Instead of it being physical damage, it's flame damage. Well, at that point, Minor Berserk, you can really just treat as my Rolled in Ruin passive. Yeah, you can just treat it like that. And that is the increase by 5%. It's the same amount of number by percentage. If we treat it like that, that means that when I actually get my tooltip up, right? Well, when I get my weapon damage up, so my weapon damage is capping at a strong 6.999. The tooltip right now for cleave is, yeah, alright, 9.1. Go ahead and have this proc. Let me go fast to make sure it don't dip. I can get it to 9.5. So I'm just gonna be honest with you guys right now, right? We treated how I just explained it to you, right? With just a little bit of sources of the damage done. By the way, let's talk about all the damage done that I'm showcasing to you now to get that tooltip to 10k, because it doesn't even matter in the long run. Master at Arms and Biting Gora, alright, that's 12% right there, right? I'm running Shield Breaker. That's giving me 6% damage done at all times. So that's 18. And then on top of that, I got Black Rose Prison Dual Wield. That's another 6. I'm at 24% increased damage done. And then on top of that, I had the Minor Berserk. Now we are going to treat the Minor Berserk as if it was a World and Ruin passive, because TorchBearer has that 5% flame damage added to it. So if I'm on the DK right now, if I add TorchBearer with this DK, and I add 7k weapon damage, which is very much doable in a setup. In this particular setup, I can do that. I can change my axis to go to swords, go to Gaji, get my crit damage right back, and it really does not affect me that much. I can definitely get my weapon damage to 7k. That is not the issue. If I'm just worried about getting my weapon damage to 7k, I can do that. I can swap off. I have a jewelry piece right here. This is tri-stab reduction cost, 213. I can change that to be another glyph of spell damage and give me mag recovery. You understand, like, the weapon damage is there. I can get it to 7k. This is very much doable, and I have to stress this a lot. It is doable to get the tooltip to be the same, if not higher, and very much so higher than what I just showcased to you with Major and Minor Courage, alongside getting access to the Minor Berserk, because that's basically what I just got from the dummy. That is important. Yeah, Major Brutality. I give myself Major Brutality through Igneous Weapons. Doesn't fucking matter. Oh, but what about the Minor Sorcery or the Minor Brutality? I'm a DK. I give myself their own benefits themselves, so those doesn't matter. Or what about the Major Force? We're not showing crits. And I have to illustrate this to everybody here, because the Torchbearer, the fact that Cleave is even being compared to this right now is insane. When I'm fully buffed, I basically double this tooltip to be a 10k. Alright, cool. From that 10k, right? And I'm going to showcase the numbers to you in a moment. We're going to disappear and showcase these numbers to you and explain these numbers to you. If I'm already capable of getting to that 10k, even though I have 30% increased damage done right now that got me to that 10k, keep in mind, I'm still missing out on a minimum of 110% increased damage done that I'll be explaining to you in a moment. So even if I didn't have the extra 10% there, like say I got another 10% and it still only got me to 10k, I can still increase the damage of this by 100%. I can double its damage if you think about it like that. So the base damage that we have right now, increase it by 100%. And then on top of that, you can crit for 100%. So at certain points, you gotta realize I just quadrupled that damage. Instead of hitting for, or having a tooltip for 20k, if I crit, that's a 40k. So let's get into the damage done real fast. Torchbearer is a fighter's guild ability. Because it's a fighter's guild ability, if I hit you and you're a vampire, which everybody in PvP is a vampire or a werewolf, most of the time they are vampires, I'm doing an initial 10% increase damage because it's a fighter's guild ability, and this effect is bonus, like increased by another 10%. It's doubled. So it's 20% right there. And then, as you can see here, if I activate Evil Hunter, I'm increasing the damage of my stam costing fighter's guild abilities by 25%. And you can make Torchbearer, even the fiery torch version of it, cost stam. It's based off of the highest of your maximum resources. So just with these two passives here, right? I'm making Torchbearer, which is already comparable to Cleave in terms of initial damage for the tooltip. I'm already capable of increasing it by effectively 50%. 20 plus 25, that's 45%. That's 5% away from being 50%. And you know what's fucked up about all that? You have a passive called World on Ruin that increases it by 5%. So that right there is 50%. You increase the tooltip by 50%. I'm not going to include that because, as I was showing to you earlier, you can already get basically 30% increased damage done and then 7k weapon damage. And Cleave is already at 10k. Realistically, that tooltip's going to be a little bit higher. I think it'll be closer to like 11k. But I didn't have a DK tune that had like Brawler or anything like that. So with that being said, guys, this is just fucking insane to even think about it. With that being said, we know that the tooltip is comparable, and we know what's needed to get the tooltip to 10k. And we've already increased the tooltip by 50%. And it gets worse, because if I do Encratis Behemoth, which is a monster helm, and I do Engulfing Flames, that's another 11%, so we're at 61%. It doesn't stop there, unfortunately, because there's Vampire Stage 3. That's another 13% increased flame damage. Because again, everybody's going to be vampires. It's very common for you to find vampires in Beast Stage 3. So now they're taking another 13% on top of the 61% we were just talking about. So that's 74% increase. We've nearly, like, 3/4 increased our damage, with also having another 30% that's just getting us to the base. Is it just me, or this skill clearly needs to get nerfed immediately? Because if you really think about it, if you add them up, I'm already at 100%, and I'm telling you there's more damage done to increase it. That will actually make it where once we get to 10k, we can increase it by another 100%. We can literally double the tooltip of it. Yes, this is including debuffs, but it's fucking dumb. It's fucking dumb. And let's go further into it. So he's back at 74%. From this 74%, let's go ahead and include the other passives from Shieldbreaker, right? Well, no. Did I already include that in Shieldbreaker? Well, it was... I'm forgetting some of the numbers already. Well, it was 12 there, 6, and then another 6. Yeah, that was from Black Rose. Okay, yeah, so I can do this. The other 6% from Shieldbreaker is when a target has a damage shield on. So say I'm hitting a target and he has, I don't know, a 5k damage shield on. That doesn't really matter. What matters is this. Because he has that damage shield, I get another 6%. So now we're at 80%. On top of that, you can run Bastion, which is a red CP that gives you 15% increased damage done to enemies that are shielded, or aka have a damage shield. So now we're at 95% increased damage done. 95%. So if I fight you while you have a damage shield active, and I hit you with this torch, my tooltip's already at 10k. I've effectively increased its damage done by 100%, and if you really press her, like, oh, well, it's only 95%, Minor Berserk. There are so many ways to get Minor Berserk. Hell, if you're really pressed about it, I could run Sea Serpent, run Major Berserk. There's a set that's coming out that you can heavy attack, give you Major Berserk, but I'ma just say I'm running Sea Serpent here. Because previously, as I showed you earlier, I had an extra ring on, like I think I had VD on, just so that Death Dealers doesn't proc. So I could swap out that extra ring, put on a necklace of Sea Serpent, take damage, now I have Major Berserk. So, again, I can get past 100%. There's a couple ways to do it. You don't gotta run Black Rose Prison Dual Wield, by the way. You could just run a Lightning Staff if you just want even more damage done. There's so many ways that you could realistically increase the damage done of this. It's literally just a matter of which way do you really want to go with it. There's many things that you can swap out, do this, do that. It's interchangeable to a certain extent. And the fact that I can get the damage done over 100%. I actually really got it to 105% when I put on Sea Serpent for that, while also still having that 30% on the side. That got us to that 10k. So really, if you add them together, 100 plus 30, that's 130% increase tooltip. And when you include all the other things that you can be doing to increase the damage done, an extra 5% here, 5% there, you can easily push the damage done of TorchBearer past 160 and closer to like maybe 180. Like realistically, I could see somebody do it for 180 because there's even more passives that you can put on to this skill to make it hit hard. If the enemy is stunned, you can run Warrior's Opportunity, and that makes it where the sweeps do 10% more damage. Well, really, you just do more damage to enemies that have this ability to fix on them, aka they're stunned. This is insane. This is quite literally insane. I don't know who is trying to balance this. I don't know who was involved with this. This has to be nerfed. I don't want to deal with this because it'd be different if this was just like Cleave and it's just a little glow stick that just, oh yeah, it just hit just like Cleave. No. This is far harder than Cleave. Because if you really think about it, right? Let's say I go and fight you, right? And I just non-crit you for a 7k. A 7k is pretty strong, but you could survive a non-crit 7k. You would be a little cautious, but you're okay with it. Now imagine, right? You get hit with 3 7ks over the course of 2 seconds. That's what TorchBearer does. And that's if this person is not buffed to hell and back with group buffs, or he's not fully stacking up his damage done for TorchBearer, or God forbid he fucking critted and he has crit damage, because you're dying. You're just dead. There is no, well, you know, actually, no, you just die. You're dying to that. Because I am not even kidding. There are going to be clips, if this does not get changed, of people hitting TorchBearer in groups, non-critting for 11 and 12ks, and then critting for 20k plus. With a fucking torch. With a fucking torch, they're critting you up to 20k, and they can hit you 3 times. Imagine fighting a fucking ball group, and you get pulled in, and all you see is a whole group of people just swinging a fucking glow stick, killing you. You don't live. You don't live. 1 DPS, if you really think about it, can just do 60k damage over the course of 2 fucking seconds in PvP. And they can still have the audacity to put minor mangle on you, or put a fucking dot on you. Or better yet, they could heal their fucking team if they wanted to. They could really do that. That's fucking stupid. That's fucking stupid. Actually, no. When you have the flame damage on, it makes it where you can't heal other people. I forget about that. Doesn't fucking matter when you really think about it. He can heal himself for it. Oh yeah, here's some minor. Let me just give myself minor heroism. Yeah, bro, fuck it. Let me give myself fucking. There's too much to this. This skill needs to be nerfed, without a shadow of a doubt. And if you really don't agree with me, just think about this for a second of the damage done that I'm talking about, right? If the tooltip starts at 10k and is cut in half for PvP and it's at a 5k, I increased it by 10%, right? Well, not 10%, I increased it by 100%. That means that it's at a 10k for a tooltip, and then you can crit and it's a 20k, right? That, in theory, that's how it should be. But when you include all the debuffs that are being included on top of that, when you include engulfing and everything else, you quickly start realizing, like, okay, it's not really going to be a 10k, it's going to be a little bit closer to 11k. And then including people's mitigations and all that, it's going to be actually hitting people for about a 9k to 8k. And you're going to get people that are very unlucky, solo wise anyway, to get hit for the actual 10k. Because a DK could pop corrosive and mitigate all your armor, and then some people, even though they have vamp stage 3, that stage 3 isn't enough mitigation to really save you. They don't have major evasion or minor evasion on. So yeah, a good group can, lower that damage down to 7Ks, but if they crit on you, you're still taking 10Ks each. Minimum. That's 30k damage from 1 DPS over the course of 2 seconds. He could have fucking a stupid amount of stuff going on. He could have a lot of pen going on, have people running Kratos and engulfing flames himself. Like he doesn't have to run it himself. He can have somebody else run that. He gets group buffs. He gets this. He gets that. He fucks around, hits Eye of Flame, and just torchbearers you. You just have to take that. People could run Vicious F and Clever and still be able to reach 100 plus increased damage done with that setup. I don't think people are really getting at that, because that's just the damage done. The damage done increasing it by 100%, that's a double. And then you can crit somebody for over 100%. That's another double. If we're capable of getting the tooltip to that 10k in PvP and having it like that, again, I've ran setups where they were capable of doing stuff like this. Basically, a year ago, I used to be able to run around with my blade and spec somebody. Here's a 27k just for you, my friend. VD Clever. Oh, I want to hit you with an end cap. I really wanted to go and like smack you really hard. I could probably push it to a 30k. Really get it at, not even push it to a 30k. I could really push that shit to like a 33k. That's an absurd amount of damage to be throwing out at anybody. And I'm telling you that somebody is now capable of hitting you for 15Ks potentially, even if you're grouped up and you know what you're doing. Somebody even able to hit you for a 10k, and it's basically just a puncturing sweeps. Each sweep is hitting you for fucking 10k. Yeah, nah, this gotta get nerfed. This gotta get nerfed. I need people to literally share this video, post it in the forums, try to get some type of, really just push this as much as possible. Type in the forums and let them know that TorchBearer is doing too much damage and needs to be nerfed. There are other skills that are scribable that don't need to be nerfed. They're useful, they're good, but they're not overpowered. This right here is incredibly overtuned. This is incredibly overpowered, and I think it only occurred like this because they didn't realize, oh, we have certain setups that allow for this type of damage. Because at the very beginning, when I started this second part of this video, I've already explained to you how you can increase your damage done by nearly 50% with 2 passives from the Fighters Guild. They may or may not know of it, like the Evil Hunter. It may or may not even proc. But the fact that I know setups that can still get enough damage done to counteract it doesn't even matter at this point. Oh, Evil Hunter doesn't work? That's fine. I don't have to activate the skill. I'll just do this, that, and other. I'm still getting 100% increased damage done. I might be able to get a little bit higher than that. And you just have to accept that. Here's that extra. Yeah, here's that. You got killed by a fucking glow stick hitting you for fucking 20Ks. Yeah, nah. Nerf it, please. Please. Make sure you share this shit. Make sure you're telling people about this. This gotta get nerfed. Otherwise, it's not gonna be a fucking good summer for ESO doing anything PvP related. This shit is overpowered. This shit is overpowered.